Now we are going to move into our panel, Careers in Tech, Stories from the Region. We will have three amazing ladies, Dr. Marianne Azer, Associate Professor, Nile University, Director of Information Centers, National Telecommunication Institute, Egypt. Dr. Miriana Itani, she's Android Team Lead from Hicart, Lebanon. And Noura Berzouga, she's an IT Project Manager, Expo Logistics from France. And we have our amazing host for the panel, Dr. Ashwaq Al-Asmari, and she will start now and take it forward. Ashwaq.
Thank you so much, Ala. I'm very excited today to be hosting a panel to talk about careers in tech and hear exciting stories from amazing women in the region. We have three amazing panelists. Mariana, she's Android team lead at Hicart, and she's from Lebanon. Also, we have Noura, she's an infrastructure project manager at International Transportation Company in France, and she's originally from Tunisia. And we have Dr. Marianne, she's associate professor at Nile University. She's also a member of the Egyptian Parliament. As you may see that we have panelists from diverse perspectives and backgrounds. I'm very happy to be moderating this panel. So let's kick off this panel discussion by asking my guests to introduce themselves more and the work that they do these days. So let's start with Mariana.
Hello, everyone. It's really an honor to be here. It's such a pleasure to be among everyone and the other amazing ladies. Well, as you said, I'm an Android team lead at Hicart. Hicart is an e-commerce application. I have like more than 8 years of experience in developing native Android applications. At the same time, I have more than 30 applications published personally by me on the Play stores other than the one that I have monitored or supervised. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariana. Now we can move with to Dr. Marianne.
Thank you, Ms. Ashwaq. It's a pleasure and honor to be here in the ArabWIC. This is our home, our comfort zone. So to be brief, I've been recently, 2 months ago, appointed by the Prime Minister to be a board member of the Financial Regulatory Authority. I'm a former member of Parliament, as you introduced me kindly, Ala. I'm an associate professor in both the National Telecommunication Institute and the Nile University, vice president for ISACA in Egypt. And you know, ISACA is an international security and assurance organization worldwide. And I do a lot of work with international organizations and consultations, almost 80 publications. So I merge between the politics, the research and academics, and the technical consultations. That's it.
Great, thank you. And congratulations for the new appointment.
Thank you.
Yeah, now we can move to Noura. Go ahead, Noura.
Thank you, Ashwaq and Ala, for this amazing introduction. So this is Noura Berzouga. I'm Tunisian and I live in France with my little family. I'm IT and IP network engineer, having about 17 years of work experience in this field. So I served in many positions as network engineer, cloud project manager, B2B manager. And recently in 2018, with the birth of my little one, I decided with my husband to change environment and move to France. And now I'm an infrastructure project manager at International Transportation Company. Yes.
Great, thank you so much. So yeah, I'm very curious to know more about why you did choose to be in this field, and you're all coming from different background, and also you're working in different sectors. We have someone working on development, another one working in project management, and we have also Dr. Marianne doing research, and she's from academia, and also she does some technical consultation. So I wanted like to know why you picked up this field. And whoever want to start first, they can go.
Okay, I'll start. So actually, ever since I was a little girl, my first computer was like this. You remember this huge computer? That's what my parents got. And I remember I used to be interested in how this computer is working rather than actually just sitting and playing. I would be fascinated by how it's working, why are all the buttons needed, and so on. And the first time our case actually got replaced, I had to get a screwdriver and assemble the whole thing and decided to understand the motherboard and the CPU. And then that's what drove me to get an education in computer communications engineering. And during my education, I fell in love with programming. And then at my internship, I had to intern mobiles like mobile development, BlackBerry, Nokia, Android, and Apple. So I fell in love with Android development at the time, and that's how my career started. Hello?
Yes, can hear.
I'm sorry, I was speaking, then I found that myself muted. Yes, yeah, I'm just saying that what's an amazing story. I like that your passion when you were like child, it turned that to be your career. So thank you for sharing your story. And now we can move to Dr. Marianne or Noura.
Yes, sure. Actually, it was hard to choose, but I used to love mathematics. And then I said I would go to engineering. It runs in the family. It's something in the blood. And I was a bit hesitant, but I loved it. I just loved something. So I followed my instinct. And then there is one quote that I read that assured that I was on the right track. It says that you choose a job that you love, and you will never have to work any day in your life. So that's how I feel. I never felt I was working. I felt I'm enjoying my life. So this is something that keeps pushing me to do whatever I love because I'm happy, and achievements come and follow. And if I go back to the point where I chose my career, I would choose my career 1,000,000 times. Finally, what I want to say, when I met with Dr. Sana, Professor Sana Aude, the founder of ArabWIC, what we had in common was the passion and the love for what we do. So the beginning was love and the end was love, the passion. That's it.
Yeah, great. Thank you. And now we can go to Noura.
Yeah, actually, technology is a love, is a passion. No one can pass through it daily. And for me, I wanted to know more details, and I wanted to know its secrets, not only use it daily. So after my baccalaureate, I was able to choose preparatory studies as maths and physics, which are among the hardest studies, especially psychologically. But alhamdulillah, I succeeded these 2 years, and I was among the first ones, over thousands. And I got my first choice, which is telecom engineering university in Tunisia. And the STEM journey began.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
Great. Congratulations for such an achievement. Yes. Yeah, let's now, I wanted like to shed lights on successful stories, and you may mention something at the beginning when you introduce yourself, but I would like to dig deep on these like big moments in your career. Could you share with me and whoever would like to talk about their like successful stories, you can go.
I guess I'll start again. I was just giving, maybe someone else wanted to start. So Well, actually, one of my biggest moment actually might not mean like the biggest moment, but it's the moment I actually published my first application. Like the minute I clicked this publish button was something huge for me because at the time my work environment was actually all males. Even at CCE, I was the only female. Uh, so it was really tough to actually prove to everybody that I could actually do it. And I published my first applications. And this actually is a very interesting story because 7 years later, Idris is actually a driver logistics application. We are using my first application that was published 7 years ago right now at Hicart. So that's my big moment.
Nice, nice. So I really connect with the research and the publication and the feeling of the submit, that clicking on the submit button. So I've been like I remember submitting my first publication and also like, you know, receiving the comments. It's really not easy, you know, to work on the publication and like move it forward to the submit. So yeah, and now do you have, I don't know about Dr. Marianne or Noura,
Yeah,
do you have anything to share?
Actually, I have something to share. I believe that success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. So, of course, the first publication is just a success. I felt the same. But when I had more time in my career, I had different definitions for success. Sometimes success is something that's the rewarding feeling when you feel that you have influenced someone else's career and you help them, that you have mentored someone and you made a dramatic change in their career. And by this, I'll tell you a very small story. I had a student, and in my courses, I asked for publications, and he submitted and he graduated, and we didn't submit in a conference. I worked on his publications, submitted them. It was the first one, it got accepted. And I called him. He had totally forgotten about his master's degree that he took a year ago. And I told him, Mahmoud, congratulations. He was so happy. And he told me, okay, I sold the car. I will spend all my money on publications. I said, no, that's not it. We will take the other 2 publications that you made in my courses and we will work on submitting them. So afterwards, I called him. I told him, what about a PhD? He had totally left the academic and he was working in one of the biggest companies. He said, okay, I wrote a recommendation. He traveled. He wrote to me that he's very happy. He knows how to make his publications because he already had the experience. He's almost there for his PhD. And you know, his life has totally changed. And I believe that I was just someone away for him to change his career. So now I felt the success by influence. When you succeed for yourself. But when you help others to succeed, this is the real success as a human being, and this is very rewarding. So that's it.
Yeah, nice. Thank you. And yes, I totally agree about influencing others and being like a positive influence. And yes, thank you for, you know, and yeah, that's true. Our definition for the success is like changing over time based on like our experiences and our like, you know, perspectives. So yes. And do you have anything to share, Noura, or we can move to the next question?
Yeah, actually, I won't say examples because big moments are when you see simply the fruit of your hard work, when you can offer to your parents, whether they are here or not, far or near, a certificate, a diploma, a defense, a book. This is really a successful story. So when you see, as Marianne said, when you see your mentees and students happy with their work, this is also a successful story. So yeah.
Nice. Yes, and so let's go to talk about the challenges, so the other side of, you know, the interesting journey in technology. Could you like share with us some of the challenges that you may face in your career and how you usually do overcome these challenges?
Yeah, I can start.
Yeah. Go ahead, Noura.
Yeah. So for the challenges, there are a lot of challenges that I face it. So as you know, STEM field is a hard field, and it's a male environment basically, from university to business. So there are always more men than women, and sometimes you feel that you have to impose yourself to prove that you are also a hard worker, that you can achieve such thing. So even sometimes you have to put on soft clothes with dark colors just to fit them. So, but Alhamdulillah, I respect. When you respect yourself, everyone will respect you, and that will be okay. And the second big challenge, I see that as a Muslim hijabi women engineer, I admit I wasn't really easy, in particular in France, and before that in some companies in Tunisia. So I spent a lot of time, for example, here looking for a position, and I hadn't give up until I found what I love, alhamdulillah. So these are some challenges I faced.
Nice. Yeah, sorry to hear some of the challenges that you went through, and glad that you were able to overcome that.
Yep.
So, and yeah, what about Dr. Marianne or Mariana? Do you have things to share?
Yeah, I think challenges, you know, every step in our lives, we face different challenges, especially in the STEM career. I remember very well when I was in the university and in the lab session, we used to be divided to groups. And because of my name, MA, so I'm surrounded with all Karim before me and Muhammad after me. So they're all men. So when we have a practical experience, I was the only lady there, and I couldn't jump with them and do whatever they are doing because there is no space. And so I used to back off, stay after the lab. I was lucky to find good teaching assistants to help me, but I spent double the time to be able to make my own experiment. So it was a bit frustrating that during the session you cannot interact because there is no space for you. But afterwards, if you have like good intentions and you are really honest about what you're doing, this was a very small challenge at the beginning, but it meant a lot to me at that time because I was younger. When you go older and you have more experience, you have different types of challenges. But I do believe that, you know, smooth seas do not make skillful sailors. So those challenges we have faced in our lives and we developed solutions for them helped us to like become better and help us to not to limit the challenges, but to challenge the limits. And this is very important because sometimes you don't face like real challenges in front of you, but you stay still in your position. And this is very bad in our career in STEM because especially in the technology, if you're still in your place, then you will fall down. So you need to challenge the limits. You need to get used to challenge yourself each and every time you feel that you are stable. And this is a skill that you acquire by time. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, nice. Thank you, Dr. Marianne. And what about you, Marianne? Mariana, do you have anything
Well,
to share?
actually, yes, sexism is actually on top of the list, of course, because as the two other speakers elaborated and actually said, it's the same thing. I remember at university, one of my doctors actually explicitly told me that you are only taking your grade because of your partner who was actually a male at the time, and I did not understand the reason for it. And someone continued the comments and sarcasm throughout work. Sometimes you would hear a joke which supposedly is a joke, but it's very hurtful, like you females do not work, you should stay at home cooking and so on. And you have to have a very strong personality to actually make those people stop talking about that. Like, no, I'm not going to accept that you are going to tell me that. So those are one of the challenges, because this actually creates tension throughout work, because it would start as a joke but end up not as a joke, and so on. But we should not accept, I believe, like, we should not accept a work environment like that. And I didn't, and lucky enough I found Hicart, and at Hicart I'm glad to say that there is absolutely no sexism at all. But yes, it does take time.
Great. Thank you, Marianne, for sharing that. I would also like to hear from you, and I'm very actually honored to be speaking with you, like very successful women. I would like, to hear from you about the key skills that you think are very critical for the career advancement, and what helped you to build your career in terms of the skills, including all type of skills. And whoever want to go first, please go ahead.
Okay, I would say a strong personality is a must. Fast learner, smart, ambitious. I'm just gonna mention those three, which actually mean to me. I'm gonna leave the rest to everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Noura, do you have something to share? You're muted, by the way. We can't hear you. Yeah, we still cannot hear you. I'm not sure if I'm the only one.
No, we can't.
Yeah. Yeah, now go ahead. Yeah, we still cannot hear you. Even the bottom is not there. I mean,
I think there's a problem with the microphone itself.
yeah. We still cannot hear you, Noura. Yeah, meanwhile, we can go with Dr. Marianne. Do you have something to share? Till like
Sure.
Noura out. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that the skills are very important. Everyone can acquire technical skills. So we will not talk about the importance of having the technical skills, because this is like they call in restaurants the minimum charge. So we cannot address them. But what we can really address is us, is our attitude, is our ability to persuade and influence others, is our emotional intelligence. That is the real sensor that helps us in working in a better way with other people. It's our attitude towards conflict management and negotiation skills, and other, of course, interpersonal skills. Above all, I believe it's our adaptation, because situations, we face novel situations every day. We face new technologies every day. If we don't have the attitude of adaptation, it's a real big problem. And adaptation is the only way to survivability. That's why I believe that those skills, together with others, are very important. So to summarize what I said, it's our attitude, our way of dealing with things, regardless of what I mentioned with explaining them, but it's us. The skills depend on us. That's it.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Noura, can you try now to speak? Yeah, we still cannot hear you. Yeah, very sorry. Yeah, we can't hear you. You may try to rejoin, Noura, or yeah. And yeah, thank you. I totally agree about having not only the technical skills, but also make sure that to equip ourselves with the non-technical skills, including the communication skills, and also the emotional intelligence, our know how to deal with the people and work and navigate the process. So yeah, and also.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you. Yes, great.
We're happy to hear
Welcome
you.
back. Yes. Do you have something to share, Noura, about the skills that you think it's important to have?
Hello? Hello, do you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Now it's okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, actually for the skills, yeah, as you said, so technical skills are important, but they are not enough. So more soft skills are important, such as social knowledge, teamwork, problem solving, leadership. Also, we were known about work ethic or time management. And those skills can be learned through trainings. There are training for that. Or also through mentorship or through team building, and that are very, very important to get. Yeah.
Yeah, great. And moving to the next question we have, it's about the balance and as a successful woman in tech career, I think maybe one of the big challenges that we may face is about the balance and between our personal life and career life. And I wanted like to hear and talk with you about some of the, some techniques that you are able to manage to do such a balance. And I don't know who wants to go first. Yeah. Maybe Mariana?
Okay, sure. With respect to work-life balance, this was actually, I'm actually a newlywed. It's only been 6 months since I got married, and that was one of, thank you. And it was a recurring question, and every single time I would see anybody and they would be like, how are you going to manage to work and cook, work and clean, work and take care of your husband? It's like my husband is like a toddler and I need to take care of him. And I'm like, we are going to share those responsibilities. We are going to cook together. We are going to do that. And everybody would be astonished. It's like, really? You're so lucky. I'm like, God, we are in 2021 and I can't believe that we are still being asked this kind of question, like, how are you managing to cook? And why am I still being asked that? So yeah, actually, yes, one of the commenters, actually, they don't ask a man about that. And that was actually one of the questions that I asked my husband, have you ever gotten this question? He was like, no. So I believe the success behind having a work-life marriage is actually having a normal work with not like over the top extending work hours, like a normal full-time job where they actually respect your personal life. And the other is actually having this understanding at home where you have a partner, not I don't know what else could it be called, but a partner means that you are sharing responsibilities and not even a man is helping. No, it is sharing responsibilities. So that's my way of handling stuff. Of course, I don't know about the others.
Yeah, nice. So do you have anything to share about maybe some questions you might encounter or in general, like some techniques that you would like to share about balancing or kind of integrating in between your personal and career life?
Well, I really loved what Miriana just mentioned. She said it all, I think. And I do believe that the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule. It's to schedule what's on your priorities. And as Miriana said, you don't have to be like having an overload, because having an overload in anything in life, even if it is sports, arts, whatever, an overload is an overload, and it should not happen. The real good thing is to like give everything a chance to influence your life, to give your family a chance to empower you in work, and to give your work a chance to help you live better in your family, being satisfied from your achievements. So it's like adjusting the salt in food. You should know the amount that you put on each track of your life. Finally, what I want to assure that it's not about, for example, my family comes first or my work comes first. It's life goes along. You cannot say that something comes first. It's priorities, but they're all there in your life at the same time, in your schedule, that you schedule the most important thing in your life.
Yeah, nice. I like that. So I just like wanted to ask the audience, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat box. And now maybe moving to our last question, and it's about maybe if you have something in parallel supporting your career beside your professional career, maybe some social or cultural involvement. And maybe Noura, if you wanted maybe to talk
Yes.
and share your experience.
Yeah. Thank you, Ashwag. Yes, besides my business career, I have few social activities around, always around STEM, women, youth also. So I'm co-founder of NGO, which is WorldTech, Women Leaders in Tech. Unfortunately, due to my move to France, I'm not very, very active to that, but I consider myself co-founder of that. And we did amazing works with many amazing ladies. Also, I was Tech Women, I am Tech Women alumni. I was Tech Innovation mentor. Also, I like participating in such lovely events as ArabWIC, meeting with amazing girls like you. So whenever there is opportunity, I try to accept it, because it's really important to be open to the world, to know what happens in other fields with other mates and other ladies. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, nice. Thank you for sharing that. And anyone else would like to share any like kind of experience doing something interesting beside your professional career?
Of course, yeah. And I'm, as we said, it's not a life balance, it's a balanced person. And a real balanced person needs to play sports. So I'm a champion in swimming and I play basketball. On the other hand, I sing, I write poems, participate and make youth activities and camps like leaders. Doesn't have to do with them, but just taking care of the young people and living together and teaching them other capacity building stuff. It's very important to become a well-rounded person, because your brain needs to be fed, but your body and your soul need other stuff. So any cultural activities, I participate in a lot of cultural activities. So it's all about like enjoying life in different fields. Of course, I volunteer in many STEM related activity, but I do other stuff a lot more, maybe in other like social activities. And as a public figure, of course, maybe in Egypt and out of Egypt, I do participate in events that are more of social rather than technical.
Well, I would say having a healthy lifestyle is very important. I try to do sports, but I'm not very consistent about it. But I do always make sure that a healthy diet is on our top priorities. I do participate in very various events, but honestly, my events are practically related to STEAM, women empowerment, interns helping them get jobs because I had a hard time at doing so, and I don't want anyone to face exactly the same thing. I would practically, participating in events is very important. So yeah, that's basically it.
Ashwag, are you muted?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for letting me know. Yes, yeah. So yeah, thank you for sharing your interesting stories and doing something very exciting and beside your amazing career in technology. So as now like reading one of the questions, one of the, and it's a lot actually lovely question from Suzanne. It's about goals setting. And, you know, with the pandemic, it's kind of shift our planning and goal setting, and it's the question here as I'm reading that it's asking if you're making personal goals like for next days or for next week or next month or next year, next 5 years, how you kind of plan and set up your goals, and maybe thinking about, you know, the situation that we are living now with the pandemic. Could you please like share with us any techniques or like how you manage you know, your life in general, including your professional career?
Well, for me personally, I make a goal of trying to learn a new thing, trying, not every day, but trying to learn a new thing every day. This is one of my personal goals. It's not necessarily related to my career itself. It could be related to something outside my career, maybe playing chess, learning a game, trying a new food, or so on. As for my long-term goals, yes, I do try to do that. I'm personally working, for example, right now on opening a small business with some partners. Um, we are working on that. So we are setting like, this is the big goal. So we are setting now minor goals to achieve, like minor milestones. As for work, it's normal like to have certain goals, like I would want to do this uh, at that certain time, or I want to do that. You have to finish it. I always attend conferences and try to learn from them. So this is for me. This is about my goals. And as I said, goals don't have to be related only to tech. They could be like one of my greatest achievements that isn't tech related, that I was able to do 5 push-ups the other day. This was huge for me because I'm not I'm not an athletic person at all. So yeah, that's how it goes. Have goals in all of your life.
Yeah, nice, nice. Thank you for sharing your kind of planning techniques with us. And Noura or Dr. Marianne, do you have any kind of experience setting goals and how you do that nowadays?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, nowadays is so different, but I'm just like, I use the opportunity of this time. Maybe more meetings are online, you have more time and less time in traffic. So I decided to make like an evaluation of my whole life and career. And I raised that theme. It's not what you achieve, it's what you overcome. So after having evaluated my life and career, I've like figured out some points that I need to improve in my life. And I've set some challenges that I need to overcome in different situations, like my response in some very harsh situations or so on. So I'm just working of not being proud of what I was blessed for in the during the last years, but trying to overcome the weaknesses that maybe weren't so evident to everyone, but at least I can identify them, and this is a blessing too. and I need to overcome them to be more prepared for advances in my career. That's it.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I like that. Focus on what you can overcome. And maybe Noura, you have something to share, or we can move to the next question.
Yeah, just two things for me. Find the time to read more books because, frankly speaking, at the end of the day, I'm tired and I say, no, I don't have time to read it, but actually we can always find time. So read more books. And for that, I attended an interesting meeting about how to read quickly, and there are many techniques how to read quickly. So I think I will be able to read more books.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Great. Maybe one of the techniques that for me I use, like especially like for to kind of to read instead of like reading, I listen to podcast or to like audio or the books in audio. So while like I'm walking or hiking or do kind of activities. So yeah, it's something that, you know, it's good to have something, you know, alternative in case if we don't have like the fully time just to sit and read. And reading is really, it's a commitment, and I usually like you know, appreciate the people who like have this commitment. And now we have very specific question from Ala. It's about the resume, and in case if you have kind of career gap in your resume, how you explain that in the interview or for your employment. I don't know if someone has an experience and or any like advice on managing that, the career gap.
To be honest, I do not have experience in that particular domain, like the career gap. But I would say it actually depends on the reason. It could be personal, or it could be just that you decided to take some time off. Regardless of the reason, be prepared for the interview. No need to explain it on your resume if you have a good resume and the employer is someone, like, for example, if you, let's say you decide to reschedule an interview for, let's say someone went to the hospital or whatever, an emergency, and the interviewee doesn't understand that, then that, and in that case you would know that this is not a good company. Same thing for career gap. Like if you have, let's say, 4 or 5 years of career gap for whatever reason, someone got sick, you had a newborn baby, or anything else, it could be just you decided to take time off, and you explain that to the company, and the company does not respect your personal time, and you have a good technical skills and good personal skills, then honestly it's their loss. That's what I would say. But during the career gap, I know some people who actually tend not to do technical research. I would say work on personal projects, like stay updated, especially in our domain. Like STEAM is a domain where you actually every day there's a new library, there's a new update, there's a new OS. So you have to stay updated. If you are updated, that proves, that says a lot, to be honest. If you are not currently working, but you're updated and you go to an ace an interview, then that is quite amazing. You are not forced to put the effort, but you are putting it on your own. So that would mean that you should get hired. If they don't hire you, then honestly, it's their loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Marianne, if you have something to share.
Sure. Yeah, I think the first thing, and career gaps, especially for women, are there, and they can be there for anyone, but I mean, we are more vulnerable to career gaps. And I met this engineer in the US who had like 9 children. And she, at every time she gives birth, she does programming aggressively during her motherhood leave, because she doesn't want to like have that gap in her life. She needs to continue practicing. So what I want to say about it's easier said than done, honestly. She's a hero, in my opinion. But first of all, you don't have to be bitter about it, because some people can have gaps, virtual gaps. I mean, it's about their knowledge. They're not in the right place and they don't feel bitter about it. So we as women are very perfectionist. So once we feel there is something missing, we feel like very bad about it. So the first thing, don't be bitter. The second thing is you need to be honest about it and open to whoever employer you are addressing your resume to just say that it happened 1, 2, 3, but I have my learning abilities. I can like work on these gaps and become even better. The third thing is like never stop networking. Networking is very, very important in our careers. You will take good advice. If you have that gap, someone can tell you something specific to you. So keep your networks and keep your contact. And you always have to have that motivating routine, because once someone tells you there is a gap or there's an imperfection at you, we as women don't like imperfections in anything, in ourselves or in our career, we start losing confidence. So don't lose your self-confidence. Many people and many success stories have had those gaps and they became much stronger. So whenever you feel yourself down, you have to read more about how these people overcame their gaps and what are the success stories. Maybe you become one day one of them and your success story will be inspiring to other women. That's it.
Nice. What's an inspiring discussion. I personally really enjoyed talking and hearing your stories. I feel I might need to later on come back to this panel and again hear and listen to your very interesting and like experiences and advices and the wisdom that you shared with us today. Thank you. I do really appreciate your time and your advices and your insightful discussion. Thank you so much. Now we can go.
Pleasure, and allow me just to thank Susan Malaika for the summary she's sending over the chat, and to send my best regards to all my friends in ArabWIC and my colleagues who have worked throughout those years to make this happen, especially Professor Sana Aude and my other colleagues.
Thank you. I hope like we can meet in person in next years, inshallah. Thank you so much, everyone. And now I can go to Ala.
Thank you, everyone. It is really a great panel. I really enjoyed everything. I enjoyed all the discussion. It's very, very inspiring and very informative for all the women. I think we can continue the discussion in the break. The audience can ask further questions, and speakers from the panelists and the audience also can join the discussion. Now we